People have the unfortunate habit of underestimating the capabilities of our ancient ancestors. But we have a cure for that. The cure is to observe the incredible inventions and technologies they came up with, which is precisely what we are going to do in this video. Number 1. The Mystery of Baalbek. The entire site of Baalbek in Lebanon is both a wonder and an archaeological mystery. But it is the megalithic stones cut in the quarry that provide us with the greatest mystery of all. One of them, the South Rock, weighs approximately 900 tons. There is no clear indication of what the rocks were needed for, why they were cut to that size, and how someone living in ancient times could have dreamed of moving them anywhere after they had been cut. The Western Rock is even larger, weighing around 1,000 tons. One theory says that they were intended to become part of the Baalbek Trilon, but as the Trilon site is uphill from the quarry, it would require an inconceivable amount of power to drag or push them uphill. We can't even say for sure who did the cutting work. It is generally attributed to the ancient Romans, but we have seen no evidence that they attempted to mine such enormous megaliths anywhere else in their ancient empire. This would be considered too difficult a construction project to attempt today, let alone thousands of years ago. Number 2. The Soto Dolmen. The Soto Dolmen is a 5,000-year-old Spanish mystery that probably won't be solved anytime soon. There are around 200 Neolithic-era ritual burial sites in the Spanish province of Huelva, but none are as magnificent as this incredible underground structure. The name Dolmen de Soto comes from Armando de Soto Morillas, who discovered the enormous passage tomb while trying to build a new house on his land in Andalusia in 1922. The great German archaeologist Hugo Obermeier was summoned to the site to excavate and found 8 sets of human remains buried in the fetal position, surrounded by funerary objects. Objects include cups, daggers, and marine fossils. Burying people with marine fossils is an unusual practice that has never been observed in Spain before, and its significance is unknown. Equally mysterious are the 43 standing stones surrounding the dolmen, each of which is covered in engravings depicting knives, cups, human figures, and abstract shapes. 100 years after the discovery, we still know nothing about who was buried here or what the carefully engraved symbols mean in relation to burials. Number 3. Dutch boxwood carvings. Religious iconography is often a labor of love for the maker, but even with that in mind, these bog-carved miniatures are incredibly sophisticated. Only 135 of the sculptures, which are sometimes also called prayer nuts, have been found, all of which were made between 1500 and 1530 in the Netherlands. That suggests they could have been the work of a single person. The small altars are joined by perforations so small that the joints are completely hidden. We have only been able to determine how they were assembled using X-rays and microscopes, but the fact that we need such advanced technology to determine how they were made raises the question of how anyone could have put them together without the use of such technology in the first place. The pins that hold everything in place are smaller than a grass seed. The human eye is unable to see them, so how could human hands move them with such precision? Was someone in the Netherlands hiding an old X-ray machine? The only other explanation is that the person who made them was so incredibly nearsighted that she would have been nearly blind no more than a foot or so away from his face. Number 4. The Baghdad Battery. At this point, as we are slowly accepting that our ancient ancestors had a better understanding of technology than we usually give them credit for, it becomes possible to believe that they might even have understood the basic principles of electricity. That question must be asked because of the existence of the Baghdad Battery, which was found in Iraq long ago, in 1838. Although historians tend to reject the idea that it is a battery, it is almost impossible to understand the artifact any other way. It is a clay jar that houses an iron rod, around which there is a copper coating. There wouldn't be much point in creating it as an ornament if it couldn't be seen unless the jar was opened. And it would be a strange-looking ornament anyway. The Baghdad battery has been tested under laboratory conditions and has been shown to be capable of holding a charge. That poses a big historical problem because the artifact is more than 2,000 years old. Were these ancient people experimenting with electricity? And if so, why didn't they take the idea further? Number 5. Leonardo da Vinci tank. Italian Renaissance master Leonardo da Vinci has a strong claim to possessing the greatest mind in human history. The polymath was light years ahead of his time in art, science, biology, and sculpture, and it seems that he could also predict the future of military combat. Long before a tank crossed the fields of Europe or anywhere else in the world, Da Vinci had come up with a basic idea of what they might look like. He never built a prototype based on his design, but the fundamental principles are sound. Da Vinci's tank had space for outward-facing blunderbusses and a removable top section that could be opened to aid the driver's vision. The wheels were probably too thin to be useful in a muddy field and the axle crank design seems flawed, but we shouldn't hold that against it. However, this design is a basic blueprint for the future. In fact, a group of engineers were able to successfully build a working model of the tank based on Da Vinci's plans in 2010. Number 6. Old seismograph. It would be very useful to know when earthquakes are coming. Areas could be evacuated before a disaster occurred and numerous lives could be saved. We struggle to predict earthquakes here in the 21st century, even with all the wonderful technology we have at our disposal. And yet, the ancient Chinese were attempting to make such predictions during the 2nd century. They used devices like this seismograph made by Zheng Heng in the year 132. Although it might look like an elaborately decorated vase, Zheng Heng's device is incredibly sensitive and sophisticated. When placed on the ground, it can detect tremors occurring miles away, swinging a pendulum inside the artifact. If the swing exceeds a certain safety level, he releases one of the balls into the mouths of the dragons that are attached to the sides of the seismograph, dropping the ball into the mouth of a frog. This not only tells observers that an earthquake is approaching, but also gives them an idea of the direction it is coming from. It probably wasn't very accurate in terms of predicting directions and wouldn't have given much warning, but it was certainly better than no warning at all. Number 7. 5,500-year-old burial practices. Burying the dead with dignity was an important step in the development of our ancient ancestors. Funerary practices and rituals vary dramatically from place to place and era to era, but archaeologists are surprised by the sophistication of this newly discovered funerary site in southeastern Poland. It is a large row of megalithic tumuli that once contained 12 45-meter-long stone-lined tombs. The walls were supported by wooden palisades, one of which has survived to this day, with an entrance at one end and an atrium in the middle. This would have been a rather elaborate place for the dead to be buried and also for relatives to come visit them. Considering it was built around 5,500 years ago, it is surprisingly advanced for its time. However, it may not have been the final resting place of the people placed therein. Archaeological evidence at the site suggests that bodies were periodically removed to be replaced with new ones, so it could be that people were placed here for a brief period of mourning before being permanently buried elsewhere. Number 8. In the greenery of County Meath, Ireland, lies Newgrange, a Neolithic tomb older than Stonehenge and the Egyptian pyramids. Built around 3200 BC, it is part of the Brú na Bóinne complex, a World Heritage Site that also includes the tombs of Knowth and Dowth. Newgrange is a large circular mound surrounded by stones engraved with megalithic art. The structure measures 85 meters wide and 12 meters high, and was built with approximately 200,000 tons of earth and stone from far-flung locations such as the Mourne Mountains in Wicklow. In the center of Newgrange there is a stone passage leading to a cruciform chamber used to bury burned and unburned human bones, suggesting their use in funerary rites. The passage is aligned to capture the winter solstice sunrise through a roof box, flooding the interior chamber with sunlight and highlighting the astronomical importance of the tomb. Archaeologists believe that Newgrange served a religious or ceremonial purpose, underlined by its complex art and architectural sophistication. The facade, predominantly made of white quartz boulders, and the presence of a surrounding stone circle further accentuate its ceremonial importance. The site's historical significance is deepened by its role in Irish mythology, believed to be a home to deities such as the Dagda and his son Angus. Mythological narratives indicate that Newgrange was not just a monument, but a central figure in stories of sovereignty and divinity, where the heavenly and terrestrial kingdoms met. Archaeological studies, especially those of Michael J. O'Kelly between 1962 and 1975, have been crucial in revealing the secrets of Newgrange. O'Kelly's reconstructions, such as restoring the front of the tomb to facilitate visitor access, although controversial, have helped preserve this ancient structure. Furthermore, Newgrange's art, with its engravings of spirals, arches and geometric patterns, shows an advanced understanding of design and symbolism. These engravings, mainly on the entrance stone and gunwale stones, are believed to have ritual significance beyond the decorative. Number 9. Sacsayhuaman, on the northern outskirts of Cusco, Peru, is a massive complex rising to an altitude of 3,701 meters. Built in the 15th century under the leadership of the Sapa Inca Pakakutec and his successors, Sacsayhuaman's architectural achievements continue to raise questions about the capabilities of prehistoric civilizations. The structure is famous for its colossal dry stone walls composed of enormous blocks cut so precisely that they fit together perfectly without the need for mortar. The precision is such that not even a piece of paper can slip between many of the stones. This technique not only highlights the Incas' advanced understanding of masonry, but also their ability to manipulate large stones to withstand the seismic activity that frequently shakes the region. The largest stone is estimated to weigh almost 200 tons, and the question remains: how are they transported and carved with such precision using the limited technology available in that period? The fortress's strategic location on a steep hill offers a commanding view of the Cusco Valley, suggesting its use as a military stronghold. However, the complexity and elegance of the stonework suggest that it also had a significant ceremonial role. The extensive plaza and large terraces with zigzag walls that imitate the teeth of a puma, along with the site's alignment with celestial events, show its spiritual importance to the Incas. The construction of Sacsayhuaman is notable considering that Inca builders primarily used bronze or stone tools. The Incas shaped the enormous stones with such precision that the walls have withstood centuries of natural disasters. Modern experiments, such as those at Denizli, have attempted to replicate the precision of the Inca masons, but achieving the accuracy of the stone joints remains difficult, increasing the mystery of their construction methods. Over the centuries, Sacsayhuaman has suffered looting and destruction, especially during the Spanish conquest, when many stones were reused to build the colonial city of Cusco. Today, only the largest stones remain, too heavy to be moved, allowing us to imagine the original grandeur of Sacsayhuaman. In the modern era, Sacsayhuaman has become a symbol of cultural pride. It is the setting for Inti Raymi, the Inca Winter Solstice Festival, which attracts thousands of tourists and locals who come to see Inca tradition and pay homage to the engineering of their ancestors. Number 10. Teotihuacan. Located in the Valley of Mexico 40 kilometers northeast of modern Mexico City, Teotihuacan is a testament to the architectural prowess and urban planning of ancient Mesoamerican civilizations. Renowned for its monumental pyramids, such as the Pyramid of the Sun and the Pyramid of the Moon, Teotihuacan was not built by the Mexica, influencing far beyond its borders through trade, especially in obsidian tools, and culturally through its architectural innovations. And artistic. The city was founded around 100 BC, with construction of its main monuments continuing until approximately 250 AD. However, around 550 AD, the city experienced significant destruction and was abandoned during the 6th and 8th centuries, possibly due to extreme weather events between 535 and 536. The urban design of Teotihuacan centered on the Avenue of the Dead, connecting the main ceremonial and administrative sites, including the pyramids. The Pyramid of the Sun, one of the largest in Mesoamerica, rises to more than 66 meters and was built with 3 million tons of stone, without metal tools, wheels, or draft animals. The construction techniques used by the Teotihuacans are not yet fully understood. The pyramids had a board slope structure, with alternating inclined and vertical panels, providing stability and an impressive visual appearance. Internally, they were built with rubble, adobe bricks, and a layer of lime plaster, which allowed them to resist the earthquakes common in the region. Despite its size and planning, there is no clear evidence of a centralized monarchy, suggesting that the city may have been a theocratic or collective state, evidenced by the lack of royal iconography and the predominance of communal religious symbolism. Teotihuacan's influence spread throughout Mesoamerica, as evidenced by artifacts found in distant places such as the Mayan lands and the Gulf Coast. After its decline, Teotihuacan influenced later civilizations, such as the Aztecs, who considered it the birthplace of the gods. Today, it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site that attracts millions of visitors to admire its pyramids and culture. Despite archaeological studies, many aspects of Teotihuacan remain mysterious, including the reasons for its decline and the ethnicity of its inhabitants. Number 11. Baibazin is a mysterious archaeological site located on an island in Lake Tirkol, in the Republic of Tuva, Russia. This fortified complex, dating from around the 8th century, has baffled researchers due to its isolation and lack of clear evidence about its purpose and occupants. The name Porbazin translates as mud house in the Tuvan language, reflecting the site's main construction with mud bricks. Porbazin's design is unusual, with walls up to 12 meters high surrounding a rectangular area of about 3.5 hectares. Within these walls are the remains of several structures, including a central building that some believe could have been a temple or palace. The layout of the site suggests Chinese architectural influences, which has led to theories about its possible use by the Uyghurs, a Turkic group who established an empire in the region during that era. Porbazin's purpose remains a matter of debate. Some archaeologists suggest that it could have been a military fortress, an administrative center, or even a spiritual retreat. The remote location and lack of everyday artifacts complicate interpretation of the site. Investigations have revealed signs of a fire that apparently destroyed much of the complex, but the circumstances of this event are unknown. Recent excavations and studies, involving advanced techniques such as remote sensing and isotope analysis, continue to provide information on Porbazin. These studies have suggested that the site may have been built in a single monumental effort and used for a brief period before being abandoned. Porbazin is not only an archaeological enigma, but also a site of great natural beauty, surrounded by the mountainous landscape and the lake that isolates it. Its mystery attracts both scientists and tourists, intrigued by the untold stories of this ancient construction. Each new discovery at Porbazin offers an additional piece to the historical puzzle, increasing our understanding of the cultures that once inhabited this remote region of Siberia. Number 12. Tiwanaku, the Gate of the Sun. Let's stay a while in Bolivia and travel near the famous Titicaca River. Here an ancient settlement of about 4 square kilometers was discovered that, according to historians, reached its maximum splendor around the year 800 AD. between 10,000 and 20,000 inhabitants. Numerous objects of historical relevance were discovered, such as monumental structures, decorated ceramics, and megalithic blocks. While the objects were quickly assigned to a people who lived more than 1,200 years ago, the monolith called Puerta del Sol continues to cause speculation to this day. What it is in detail would probably remain unexplained forever, since historians, despite all the research, have not discovered any concrete clues about the meaning and purpose of the monolith. In Bolivian popular belief, the Puerta del Sol is considered a mystical place that connects the world of humans with that of the gods. Number 13. Exploring Nan Madol, the mysterious archipelago. Nan Madol, have you ever heard of this place? Probably not, since it is an archipelago in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Although in such remote and paradisiacal corners you could expect only beaches and crystal clear waters, in Nan Madol you will find mysterious stone structures. Among the discoveries are palaces, temples, tombs and homes built between the 7th and 16th centuries AD. The question that arises is, who would need to build something so grand in such a remote place? Scientists believe that the local elite and members of high society lived in Nan Madol, perhaps as a residence for the local government. However, there is something strange. There are practically no sources of fresh water on the archipelago. Is this location suitable for a capital or central government residence? In my opinion, it wouldn't make sense. There is another version that suggests that the Nan Madol complex had a cult and religious significance, which seems more plausible. However, it's still just one version. The complex is heavily damaged, making it difficult to understand its true purpose. Scientists have not yet solved this riddle.